Is next.
Blake's in. And we are live.
I'll be able to point out the one.
Whoop, whoop. Can you guys hear us okay? We're testing out. Let me know in the chat if you can hear me.
No reply.
No reply yet.
So far, I've sent it to Dorian.
Can you guys hear us okay?
Hello.
Brother.
Yeah.
I've hit up Dorian, Suicidal Queen,
SQ's in here. Blake's in here.
Emily.
Can hear it good? Awesome.
We have clear.
Awesome.
Am I
Nice.
missing anybody other than Tink and
We have
Strife?
clear.
I don't think so.
Blake.
You got Snoop?
Yes, I just sent him and Emily.
Okay. All right. Whoop, whoop. Welcome back to LHRPG. Anybody who knows the lore of LHR might recognize this hairy motherfucker.
Probably not, because I have all the beard.
Right.
I
You
have
used
all
to
the-
have it.
I have all the beard, and you had all the frog neck.
I'm getting it back. I'm hiding it with this beard.
Oh,
I'm
So
gonna pull up
let's
the
give
laptop.
a big ass motherfucking LHR shout out to Nexus
whoop,
OG in this motherfucker. And you might know this crazy motherfucker from the chat. What's up,
Senora
Wilbur?
Wilbur.
We got Wilbur in this bitch. And you guys actually got to play today.
Together, not
Together, yeah.
for one another.
What did we play?
Cyberpunk.
I was gonna say Skittles and Rainbows.
Oh,
That's right. We're fucking back with another game diary. It's about time. So today, before we go any further, we got to do our shout outs. So, first and foremost, I want to give a big ass shout out to Mike Pondsmith and everyone at Artel Saurian and Atlas Games for providing us with this amazing fucking module. We had a blast.
Literally. I can say that.
Shout out to Humble Among. Shout out to Seth Gorkowski. I must have watched his review for this scenario like 37 fucking times preparing for this.
Fuck.
And his review breakdown of both the Cyberpunk 2020 and Cyberpunk Red systems.
Pretty good.
So, before we get into details and spoilers, I'd like to get an overview of what we thought of this scenario in particular. Nexus?
Well, an overview of it. It started
A
off like
spoiler-free overview.
started off as hell. Then we were safe. Then it was hell again.
Good.
Tank
We must
says-
have been in Santa Ana.
Ah! What do you
Tank is
think?
in.
Tank is in. Shout out. Whoop, whoop.
I kind of personally mirror that whole thing, kind of personal hell.
He's doing the voice.
I said I was going to do the character voice for the entire stream. I'm
Don't
not
do it.
correcting
Don't do it the whole stream.
Oh, come on.
Don't do it. the whole
Come
stream.
on.
Come on now.
Yeah,
By the
no,
way,
I'm
I'm
fucking
still
dying.
here. I'm just
First
off
game.
camera.
She's not the important people today.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I am watching the chat.
Yeah,
I'll
James
drop
in
the
this
accent
bitch.
a little
So
bit.
Yeah, you can read off the.
shout
You
out
can read
to
off the comments
everybody
and the questions
affiliated
they're
with
asked, and one of us
LHR
can
up
pick
in
it
this
up.
bitch. Okay, so Cabin Fever is essentially light spoilers coming. Starts as a heist scenario and very quickly is transformed into a locked room scenario.
And shit.
So, who wants to
It's so
start us
fascinating.
off with our detailed recap?
Where do you want to start?
At the beginning of the session.
Well, beginning of the session, we started off in our adjacent rooms in the
Apartments.
The apartment.
It was a full apartment. It was just one bedroom.
You say apartment, I say a room.
You had a living room, a kitchen, a bathroom. You
It's
don't
all
have that
molded
in your
together
life.
as a workshop, though.
No, that's your fault.
Therefore, it's a room.
You hear that? He's performing renovations in your building without a permit.
No, I didn't say
That's
renovating.
policy.
I didn't say renovating. It's just melded into one fucking space.
That
It's
means
all a
you-
workshop.
That means you had to take out the inner walls.
No, not necessarily.
Anyway, let's get back to what the people came for.
So it started off with the landlord, the landman,
Hello.
people stealing my shtick.
Your stick or your shtick?
My stick.
Okay.
Oh,
I thought he said people were stealing my stick.
It's his stick.
Yes, I'm Sid the Sauce.
All right, ABK.
Okay. Ha ha ha, motherfucker. It started off with getting some new security detail. I heard the guy in the hall, and I run. I look and I see that they're on their phone and they're walking out. So I jump out there. I'm like, "What the fuck are you doing?" No. I said, "Who the fuck are you?"
Yeah.
The guy. I got treated like a fucking dog.
by the landman.
The landman looks at me and goes, "Down, boy." I'm like, "What the fuck am I, your dog?" Then I got invited for a beer, and I wanted to be a dick, but I was like, "No, I can't do it because I'm getting offered shit for free," even though Sparky does not drink. So I wanted to reply with, "What? You gonna feed me out of a fucking water dish?"
Hey, you got some good entertainment out of that.
I really did.
though.
The landman bought me later on got me a fucking big ass bottle of scotch, so I gave it to a local drunk.
We'll get there.
We'll get to that.
All
But I think after that, I mean, it was pretty much we went to the bar.
right, well, let's not get too far into the bar
Yeah.
because we have a few things that happened with other characters.
Yeah.
I want to touch on too. How did your shit start?
How'd I introduce myself?
Yeah.
The best way I could describe the character as snorting some cocaine in his room while cleaning his guns.
Accurate depiction.
And then I almost killed the corpo. Or what I saw as a corpo.
He wasn't a corpo.
He wasn't a corpo in the end.
It was security detail.
Security detail. I almost shot him.
Leasing agent.
He's there to protect you.
I didn't know that. Not until he told me.
Yeah, because he's hiding out in his room just like he did
I was
during
street
the
racing.
apartment scenario.
I know, right?
I was street racing.
Because
Yeah,
the AC
that's
was
right.
broke.
He said he was street.
Because the AC was
Street
broke.
racing.
Because the AC is broke.
The AC took landman over here 3 weeks. Fix my AC.
Hey, them renovators
Hey,
did what they could.
In his defense, he had to worry about fixing the
Every AC.
walls and windows and doors and stairs and
The only thing
parking
that
lot
damaged was my
and
AC.
roof and
Thank you, all-knowing GM.
Everything. I'm mad at
Oh.
my AC.
so. What happened after your cocaine gun almost kill?
Almost kill a man debacle. Landman over here. Can't see him. Out of the frame.
Hello.
Landman over here invites my guy, Ivan. That's how he pronounces his name. Out for a drink. Says there's going to be vodka there, so of course, as an ethnic Russian, he does. He says yes.
He pronounces
He has to.
Ivan as Yvonne.
Yeah,
That's how it's pronounced in Russia.
It's
Okay.
his full name is Ivan Kalinsky.
Kalinsky.
Kind of like how Dimitri is pronounced Dimka in Russian. Okay.
Like Michael is Michelle.
Yeah.
How about you, Jade?
Nowadays, Michael's are Michelle's.
What happened before you invited everyone for drinks? 'Cause that's where we're at.
Well, I started my day off by making a deal with this company to, after the whole fucking multiple attack fiasco, after everything was, built back up and stabilized, I made a deal with this guy to have his company basically do round-the-clock protection and surveillance on the building and make sure that the only people going in and out were authorized and all my tenants were safe. He came over, we got that sorted, I paid him, and as he was leaving, my tenants started harassing him, so I had to step
He
in.
was.
Hey, things were just getting back to normal, and all of a sudden, somebody in a suit's in there. And last time, the whole place got riddled up like fucking Swiss cheese.
Fair point.
He's harassed twice though.
Once he left,
Poor guy.
after that
Poor Rick.
the incident with Sparky, once that guy left, the cop come out, and he wasn't in his uniform for once. So I asked him what was going on. He said it was his day off, so I offered to buy him a drink for his day off, and I invited Sparky to come with us. On the way, we run into what I just called majority of the game the Russian guy.
Didn't even get my
Fucking
name
racist.
at all.
I mean, technically you're my tenant. I have your name. I
Just
just
didn't use it.
I don't think you told me your name out of game. So in
Hogan.
game, I just called him the Russian.
My handle was Hogan. That she could call me Hogan.
But
Think about it. He's a big buff guy. Hogan.
Hulk Hogan. But
Wasn't the boss at the table though.
you know, we asked him if he wanted to come with. I offered vodka, and he was like, "Okay, I'm on board."
Okay.
And as me and Sparky were getting in my car to go because they took their bikes, one of our newest tenants, Rebel, came out, asked where we were going. We told her we were going to the bar and offered for her to come with, and she tagged along.
Now, Rebel is a netrunner played by Tink, and she spent most of her morning looking for work, which is how she figured out that she needed to go to this bar. What was the name of the bar?
Paradise.
Yeah,
It's the name of the
Paradise Lost. I almost said Paradise Falls. That's from Fallout 3.
Oh my god.
It is.
Fucking nerd.
So the bar is called Paradise Lost. So I think
We have
now we
5
can
people
just
viewing. Well, 4.
Send me the
Yeah,
link
one
so
of
I
them.
can post it on the other page.
pretty
Never
much
sent it to me.
we're at the bar
I
at this
didn't
point,
'cause we're
right?
Here.
We get to the bar.
All right. So who wants to take over? What happened once we got to the bar?
I'll take our versions of the technical
Who
stuff.
are you guys meeting?
Humble among.
As far as I'm aware.
Oh, we missed one of our PCs.
He's busy.
No. We met, fucking hell. It's her fucking handle.
Who?
The Netrunner.
We already
Rebel.
covered her.
Oh,
the one,
shit.
The
yeah.
one we didn't discuss was Low, and I
Mm.
figured we would talk about what he did since he's busy.
What did he do?
Yeah.
He got a phone call from Mr. Humble Among, who apparently, found his name and number on a fixer list and was like, "Yo, I got a job for you. Why don't you gather up your posse and whoever they are and come meet me at Paradise Lost?"
And what did he do?
He went by himself, didn't bother to talk to nobody. As a matter of fact, the only reason he told me where he was going via text is because I texted him saying, "Hey, we're going to a bar if you want to come."
Yeah.
So disappointed.
Okay. So you guys get to the bar
Yes.
and you have a seat with Mr. Humble. I'm
Most,
sorry,
most
Mr.
of us.
Among.
Most of us. There was one outlier
At first.
at first.
Until he found out there was money
Until we
involved.
found out there was the cop.
The crookedest person of them all.
The cop.
Yeah. How'd that go?
Man,
I thought he
there was
just
very
shot.
few restrictions for fellow participants in the job. No corpos. There was 3.
There was no corpos, no cops,
And no media. I was saving the cop part for last,
Yeah, dramatic effect.
Yeah. And he's sitting at the bar. As soon as he hears talking about money and half now and half later, he just gets up and just walks over. Hey, what you guys talking about? Some money?
Funny thing, honestly, in my eyes, I get this from a gameplay standard. The contact we were meeting up with, Mr. Among, had all of the money for every single one of us already rationed out with an extra envelope for a guy he didn't know about.
I had them all made up because I assumed everyone was gonna
Yeah.
sit at the same time, and then he said he wasn't, so I didn't give him an envelope.
Oh, you didn't?
No,
I thought he
I did not give him an envelope until he tried to weasel his
Yeah,
way back
until he
to the
did.
table.
So he had extra money he was holding out from us. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Sounds like something a fixer would do.
Oh, dude, Humble's paranoid as fuck. Like how many people did he tell you to keep your eye on?
Like
Two that I can remember.
Yeah, because
One was the cop.
one was me.
Yeah, and one was you.
I think you
Because-
won him over though.
Because I had a short fuse.
No,
Let's
that
start
was.
out with
I
him.
fucking yelled at
No, it
him.
didn't. No, it did not start with him. It started with the cop first.
That was the cop.
What did he start with?
Yes,
the
Yeah,
like
because
from the
he
bat,
thought
it
it
was. He said something about him. I don't trust it.
Oh
Right
yeah,
off
because
twice.
he set off by himself and then made his way to
And
the
then
group.
was super loud about it.
Yeah. And he was like, I'm sorry, what?
Yeah.
I don't like this guy.
So I had to play it off like he's cool. He's cool. He's a little crazy.
Yeah, I think he grabbed him at one point, and we're not there yet, are we?
Yeah,
No,
that was
That's-
after.
that was
But-
after the
but
whole
after-
fiasco.
Yeah. Okay, we'll get there.
Fiasco.
We'll get there. So he gave you half the payment up
Half the
front,
payment was
and
$1,000.
what was the job?
We were supposed to.
Emphasis on supposed to.
Supposed to.
We were hired to procure a non-specified item in a what would you call it? I wouldn't really call it a freight barge. It was a
Small
It
cargo.
was a small cargo ship.
Yeah.
Small cargo ship.
kind of like what you would
Called-
expect.
If I'm not mistaken, it was called the Arabia's Wish.
Yes.
Good
I
job.
love this guy.
I never remember all the names.
So we spent the biggest part of the day.
What Blake say, sister?
Half asleep, wanted to hop on with let's
When to hop
Happy
on
early
Wish Little
birthday,
Nitro, happy early
me,
birthday from
Marcus.
me and
Hope
Marcus.
you
Y'all
all
had a
had a
great
great
night.
Oh, thank you, homie. Woo woo.
But
Shout out to Blake and Marcus. They some real ones, y'all. They some real ones for real.
They signed your card.
I love them motherfuckers. Okay,
Should've
so
waited.
continue.
but
You were
yeah,
hired to procure a parcel.
we didn't know what it was. We just knew that there was a lot of that specific item.
And you
I
did-
understood this
A handful of people didn't.
after I asked a couple questions about it, and then I was like, okay, and then somebody that's off camera kept asking the same questions over and over.
I was confused about one thing.
No one said it was you.
And
You outed
it was
yourself.
hard to get y'all to know which part I was confused about.
Basically,
No, I explained it.
put it like this. Say that the ship is holding 10 crates of oranges, right? They needed one of those crates of oranges. Make sense? If there's 10 barrels of fish, they need 1 barrel of fish, right? She kept thinking it was 10 crates of oranges. I need to pop open a crate and get 1 orange.
No, I just told you that's not what it was. That's not what it was.
She was confused on the type of carrying vessel it was. She
Yes.
was thinking of the big freight ships.
Like
Oh,
when
it
I
has
was
a
on
giant
I was
cargo
expecting
ship, the big cargo containers that would go in the
full
back
of
of the
stuff.
semi.
Yeah, no.
So when he said one of this item, but I don't know what the item is, I was thinking we were gonna have to open these cargo
Like a-
containers.
Honestly,
Like what the
I thought
apartments
the
are
same
made
thing.
out of.
Right.
No.
At first, I thought the same thing until I actually got a good look at the
Map.
map of the ships, and then I realized it's not a freight carrier; it's a crane and cargo bin carrier. So it's loaded a bunch of small items inside the hull, kind of how they do fish.
Very fun time.
We got it figured
I had a very good plan, at least in the end.
But yeah, I learned, and I have a suggestion for this.
You learned.
If we're going to do a session to where there's a time period in between jobs, I suggest do the shopping beforehand.
What?
2 hours of shopping.
I tried to make mine very short.
I had to get through 6 people,
Six
and
people.
a few of them are new to the system.
This is true.
Mine was
What
pretty
took me
fast.
so long was I kept rolling really crappy to see if they had what I was trying to get.
Yeah.
So eventually I just said screw it and go buy a brand new one at the store. If you're going to
So-
go do something sneaky, you got to be
Saying.
sneaky and quiet.
What happened when you guys took off for the job?
Well, we were still discussing the plan on the boat. They had it set up to where Yvonne would be the main stealth guy because I had the highest stealth stat. We all had our assigned roles. He was going to be security for the Netrunner.
No.
He
The
was
Netrunner-
hacking into the security
yeah,
systems.
he was hacking into security systems. No,
Yes, I was hacking the security
physically, not through the
The
net.
Netrunner was doing the cameras,
Yes.
Looping them.
looping the cameras. We were supposed to. You
I
Was
was
Landman
security.
was the security for the Netrunner,
Yeah.
Yes.
and Greenie, who's off screen right now, over there still, was the security for the boat itself and our NPC driver,
Along with
along with
Death Hunter.
a Death Hunter.
Yep.
Yes,
The cop.
which is the cop.
Yeah.
So
And
as
what were you
soon
doing?
I was
And
main stealth guy.
Yeah, he was gonna sneak on.
I
what was
volunteered.
Rebels?
Get the
Yeah,
gun.
Rebels the
Netrunner.
The
The
net
Netrunner.
runner. Yeah.
I volunteered to go first because that was my job as the main stealth guy to get up there and report what I saw, so it was safe for everyone else to get up. As soon as I make it like 2 steps up the ladder, the ship fucking blows up.
How was that?
I thought I was dead.
We all
I'm
thought we
surprised
were
I'm-
dead.
I thought I was dead because I was the only one not in
I
combat.
thought this was just one of those it's my birthday type of things.
We're gonna
and-
kill all of you.
yeah, I'm just gonna. You know what? I don't get to do this
Okay.
normally.
My
so-
birthday is not till Monday.
I
2
would-
days.
We're still
2
celebrating
days.
today.
Thankfully,
And it's
all
like
of the shrapnel missed the PCs. Unthankfully, unfortunately, all of the shrapnel, well, a main part of the shrapnel impaled our boat driver and the boat itself, and we had to fucking swim.
Did any of you see the explosion coming?
No.
Kind of.
No.
I had it in the back of my brain because
what I thought was going to happen was the intel was wrong, and it was set up to more like an ambush. So when we
Yeah.
got up there, we were going to be captured, or somebody was going to get hurt really bad, and we were going to have to take off.
Right.
I seen it was going to be something like that. However, with the people in this party, I did not think that the newest player and the most seasoned player at the table, that is typically one of the I'm going to stay in the back and make sure nobody gets fucked up kind of people, was the ones doing all of the
Work.
we got to save this person because they
Yeah.
can't do nothing.
When
When the other players are normally that person, they were like, screw this, I'm out, and they go.
so they all bailed ship. What
Tell them why. What was coming out of the wreckage?
we were the ones who discovered it. Too.
Yeah.
Because I tried using my Enviro scanner, it didn't work, so I passed it off to the tech dude.
Yeah.
What it was some kind of acid, some kind of smog.
It was
Mixing with the fog itself.
Hydrofluoric acid.
hydrofluoric acid.
It's a hydrogen fluoride mixed with oxygen.
Coming down directly at us at this point. So you
There's some
broke a
to
table,
this.
right?
No, I didn't break the table. I just grabbed it and flipped it in the water,
Yeah,
and then I
you
broke
grabbed
the
it
legs
from
off of it.
and broke the legs off of it. Then threw the injured boat driver on, and we both got in the water and pushed it, while being fucking threatened by a jet that was in the air that thankfully didn't see any of us. Speaking of which, the jet was Militech, and it showed up pretty quick after the whole boat exploded. Like, it exploded, and it was right there.
Unreasonably quick.
It was right there.
What I find very questionable about this whole ordeal was
Oh, yes. Keep in mind, I will be answering questions now that it's over.
I find it, and it's not referencing to the game itself, it's referencing to a player's actions.
Which
I said nothing about it because I was waiting for this to bring it about. So the person who initially took this job, okay, the landlord,
he was the one that got the phone call.
He was the one who
That was
approached-
low.
That was low,
Yeah,
low,
low
rebel.
and
Or
rebel.
All
rebels.
we
Okay,
did was
regardless.
support
Rebel.
low.
I didn't-
And
not a
rebel.
new player.
Rebel.
Rebel, not a new player.
He's this
She.
is his rebel. It's her first Cyberpunk game.
Yes, but in situations like this, it's not the first time. This is not a This is not an outcome that I
She's
I've-
done 2 seasons of Fantasy High, 2 campaigns of Call of Cthulhu.
I was
Yes,
expecting that.
but
What
my
happened?
thing is what transpired. I would never seen her doing as a character. The boat driver, the person that was sent by the employer, she left her for dead.
That was something my character would have done.
For real. Like normally with me, it's like you're not my problem. You can die. You're not paying me.
That's
Okay.
something most of my past characters would have done.
The only reason that
Some of your
Yvonne-
past characters would have finished them off for the glory.
Some of them would have been like, well, she's not going to live.
Let me take your stuff.
Let me put you out of your misery.
Yeah.
the only reason that Yvonne was helping, he does see people as tools, but the boat driver was a very helpful tool to get to the boat. And also, still employed by the same person that he was employed by. Who is also a tool, but we'll get to that later.
So what happened with the cloud?
Scary.
After every
Jesus.
round, it would get so small, so much smaller, closing in.
Every-
And after so many rounds, that space, the time that it took, well, this, how would you put it?
Its speed would
Its speed, as
accelerate.
far as getting smaller and surrounding us, doubled. So what was it like after
every 4 rounds.
every 4 rounds? It would double. So it started off at 2, and then after 4 rounds, it went to 4. After 4 more rounds, it would go on to 8. Thankfully, we got out of the water fast enough.
All of us did, actually. No one was caught outside. We were not even the last people in, were we? And we were carrying a wounded
I
woman.
think the last one in was Sin.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
he did a camouflage thing for his first
Yeah,
action before
yeah,
he
you had to
swam.
swim towards the
I'm
gas,
sharing
not
the
knowing it
link
was
to my.
there.
Well,
I'm sharing the link
and
to the
not
other
so
page.
much that as you
Alright,
had
cool.
brought up
So-
the
I
comment
did
prior
the jet.
about going straight would make us an easier target to get shot
And then,
at. by
and,
that
and then
jet.
I went straight.
And that's because he said that. I was like, you know what? He's right. I'll zigzag like he mentioned, and nobody else did that.
Okay, the only reason I
And
didn't
I was
follow
like,
my own
fuck it,
plan-
I'm just gonna join them.
The only reason I didn't follow my own plan, it was 2 able-bodied people pushing a table with a wounded woman on it. That jet would have seen us either way. Best we take the most direct route.
So where'd you guys end up going?
Back to the bar. Back to the bar.
We walk in, and Lo goes,
Seal.
I need a drink.
Right
Yeah,
off the bat.
Meanwhile, everyone else is trying to seal the doors. You know, reinforce.
Get a hold of authorities.
Greeny
all
always
the
seems to play
authorities.
an alcoholic. It's okay.
Figure out what the fuck is going on.
I knew what was going on. I got hit right in the face with it.
What was Humble doing?
Humble was trying to figure out what the fuck happened.
Nope.
Humble was just sitting there.
Not when you walked in.
Humble was just sitting there, right?
Humble was playing chess.
Oh, with
Nope.
Cherry, right?
No, that was after we came in. That was when we came in from shopping. He was playing just
Was
with the boat
it?
driver.
Yes.
He was
That's
just
right.
sitting
He's
around.
right with Ariel.
Yeah, he was just sitting
Because
around.
that's when he introduced us to her.
So I think you were right. Humble. After that, he was like.
Because
"Yo, what the
I
fuck?"
walked up to him and was like, you want your fucking video? Tell me what the fuck happened because we almost died. And
Yeah,
he was
then
like, whoa, what happened?
And then I flipped shit on him shortly after.
And that's when the lawman decided to grab him up with his
Yeah.
go gadget hand.
Oh God.
And
Well,
I
how
had
did
to-
that go?
He turned on his tank to flamethrower him, and I had to
Oh,
get
God.
between him and tell him to calm the fuck down and tell the cop to back the fuck off.
My son almost got torched by Humble Among.
Hashtag, shout out to
Hashtag
Humble
not
Among.
sponsored.
Hashtag not sponsored.
Definitely not.
The fucking click
Give
button
Humble a
right there.
subscription. He almost flamethrowed my son.
Oh no, we're losing people. They're dropping like
We only
potatoes.
lost one.
Yeah, they're dropping like potatoes.
One at a time.
Exactly. Really slowly because they
It
normally
might be
roll
white
a
because
little
they're
bit before they
fucking-
fall. Yeah.
But
We're back to 5.
Probably someone disconnected.
so
Oh, there's the view account.
what all happened before the first news broadcast?
Oh, let's see.
Um,
Well,
You met Razorhead.
I don't
I
know
met
if y'all
after
established
threatening
while I was,
Humble.
reposting that, that We stabilized the injured
Ariel.
Yeah.
Seal all the doors.
We sealed the doors up after doing that. The cop made a nice friend.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah, let's elaborate on that a little bit because that's kind
I
of a
can't
major
remember. I
NPC.
can't remember that guy's name.
Simon.
Simon.
But
No,
the
he
funniest
didn't remember
thing
the names.
at that point that had happened in the bar was the fact that the cop has a pet cyber chameleon
that he bought
That
in the
he-
shopping phase.
that climbed on top of this NPC and he commits to flipping his shit.
And the
Yeah.
cop's like, "What's the problem?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't like that thing.
He
Get it
got a
off me.
fucking robot lizard on his head. I don't know what's the problem.
Cop's like, "It's just my lizard."
Yeah.
It's like, I don't like it.
Good old Simon.
Pineapples, my guy. Pineapples.
You heard me.
Can we scoot this up a little bit?
What?
Your mouse.
No, because then I can't reach it.
It's only
For what?
it's a surprise.
Motherfucker.
Okay, for just a minute. I'll move it back. Don't worry. It's okay. You don't have to get in your feelings. Do you need the doll? I'll show us where you're hurt.
I have to show
There's
you.
your doll.
Oh, that's where it touched me.
Only on LHR.
Fuck
Ooh,
yeah.
ooh.
All right.
Back on before.
What's next?
Let's see.
The news, right? Or is it something
There was a
else
couple other
There was
things
a
that had
couple
happened.
other
I'm
things.
just trying to.
I noticed that when we had walked in,
Ah.
that guy had hung up the phone.
Yeah.
I remember
Yeah.
that part.
And Wilbur had gone to talk to the guy by the window. I think
That
it
was
at
the
the
same
same
guy.
time.
This is the same guy.
No,
The
no.
guy that was
I
on the
would
phone
talk-
was the guy by the window. That was Simon.
Because
I know what she's
He
talking
went to
about.
talk to the cyber guy.
The guy.
Okay.
Yeah, cyber guy.
The cyber guy wasn't by the window, though.
I thought he was.
No, Simon was by the window.
Okay.
He was by one of them. He was by the.
Yes,
Yeah,
the one in
because
the
he was
corner.
looking out the window.
Was
Yeah.
he?
Yes.
Okay.
Because he
I was-
Because
okay,
after
so
he talked to
that's
him,
right,
he
there's a
started staring out the window.
door.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
I knew it.
But I do remember something that happened that I don't believe was covered yet. That was in this same time period.
What?
As the doors were sealed off, somebody had ran to the door and was attempting
Who's
to.
that?
No, y'all just got the doors sealed. I just got done stabilizing. Keep forgetting Ariel. I just got done stabilizing her.
She's
She
the
was
bright
still on the
redhead
table.
That works on the water.
She was
Come on.
still on the table, and she hadn't even moved
And
yet.
then- yeah.
The guy ran up to the door, banging on the door, pleading, "Let me in, let me in." And I'm like, "No,
Breaking a metal door.
I know, I'm not letting you in." And he was like, "You better let me in." I said, "If you break that door down, I'm putting a bullet in your head. You're not coming in here." One death is a whole lot better than 15.
Can we put this in your truck?
And then he did die.
A
His
little
blood
while.
pooled in
Yeah,
through the
because
bottom
the gas
of the
had swept
door.
the entire building.
You set it over there. Just open up the flap. Put my binder
Unfortunately,
and
he
set
was
it in
trapped in the gas.
Oh, it'll melt you.
there. Yeah.
I have a
And it
question.
wasn't long.
If
he's
the
like,
door was
so
sealed
you
enough
hear him
for the
start to,
gas
like,
melt?
Hang on.
Like he said, the gas will melt you. The mist, the fog, whatever you want to call it. So as he's banging, the banging's getting lighter, and all of a sudden you hear him start to gas, and he says, "You hear him," and then blood oozes under the floor. I'm like, "Ooh, he popped."
What were you saying?
I have a serious question about that scene.
Uh-huh.
If the door was sealed well enough that the gas could not get through, how the fuck did the blood?
Because it soaks up in the towel.
Yeah, I soaked him in the towel.
Okay.
We'd be
The
able
towel was
that
acting
makes
as a
more
filter.
that makes more sense because the way that I took it was there was just enough of a gap for the blood to seep through.
No,
and then
it's
touch the
soaking
towel.
into the towel. You can see the towel turning
It's
red.
kind of
Okay,
like
I thought it was like a puddle coming under.
I don't know
That's
if
why I was confused.
I don't know if you know how like an air filter of any sort works, but they'll block, like certain filters will block, like even stuff like sulfuric acid and stuff like that. Hydrofluoric acid. It'll block it out where it can't come in. That's like the filters they have on the hazmat suits. But liquid can soak through them. What it does is it filters. The towel was acting as a filter.
It's like when you put a sheet under your door to keep from the snowy
It's
cold
like
air coming in.
Like if you're near, if you're like a lot of smoke inhalation, you can actually take a rag, get it soaking wet, put it over your face, breathe through it, and it will filter all the carbon monoxide out of the rag. Out of
Okay,
the
so
smoke.
that's why they tell you whenever you get down low to the ground to put a rag or your clothes or something over your face.
A wet one works better because it moistens the air and it keeps it from drying your lungs out because the air is super hot. Science 101.
Science 101.
Anything else we want to touch on before the first news broadcast?
Okay. So
Not that I can think of.
Razorhead.
Do you mind if I grab
Cyber.
another one of them dudes? If there's any
Top.
Oh, go for it.
I
There should still
believe
be enough.
that the landman
'Cause only
bought
one got taken out of
Yvonne
there, as far as I
a
know.
bottle of vodka, and it
Yeah, and I still
remained
got a
on the
couple
table
over
he
there,
was
too.
sitting at for a very long time before he actually ended up drinking it. But that's all that happened before, right? Because it was the bottle of
Anything else
vodka,
happened
and
before
then the
the first
newscast came
broadcast?
on.
Yes.
What?
After we got Humble and the cops separated and calmed down, Sparky went to the storeroom with Humble to talk privately.
How'd that go?
That is the first.
It went
newscast,
fairly
yeah.
decent. I honestly can't remember all of that because it was, short. But explain to him, what was going on, and which we've gone over it. But about the ship exploding, the choppers and everything, everything that had happened, and he was confused, like, what the hell? And I asked him, I said, if he had any type of idea what might have been on the ship, or if he had any idea who it was that hired him. And he had no idea. The only thing he could tell me was that he knows that the what was the name of that damn corporation?
Pepto Bismol.
Petrochem?
Yeah.
Petrochem. Pepto-Bismol.
That the only thing that they deal in is chemicals. So he said he knew it had to be, it's got to be something like that, but he doesn't have any idea what it could be.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, as far as the person that contacted him, it was a fixer. Contacted him, so he's getting paid a very large sum of money to, half now, half later, like he done with us, but a lot more money for this item to be, obtained. And so after that, I was like, you know what? I've got connections with corporations.
Oh yeah.
Let me call and see what I can figure out. I was the only one, if I'm not mistaken, that actually got a phone call through to anybody.
Yeah, it was a
Mhm.
phone call.
Not once, but twice.
Yeah.
And there's a reason for that, and we're going to get to
I
that.
tried to get a phone call.
But I got a hold of my contact, and I started explaining to him what was going on. They said, well, we'll do what we can, but you got to give us some information. And as I was going to give them information, the call cuts out. Line goes dead.
Have to point out something I'm very proud of that I managed to do. So we had actual prop money that we used.
Ah, yes.
I shorted two people at literally within 10 minutes of each other out $100.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't catch that.
That
They
money I
didn't-
gave
the
Kat
money
was
you gave
200.
them?
That
They
money I
didn't
gave
count it before they just accepted it.
that money I
Gone.
gave Kenny instead of 1,000, it was 900.
Like he handed Jade the rent money, and she grabs the stack from him, and she goes, "You're covered till next month."
The only reason
And
she
never
checked it,
counted it until after he had already left.
I fumbled as I was leaving because I was tipsy. And my character was tipsy, so I fumbled my words and accidentally said 300 instead of 200 like I gave her. Because she didn't have the paperwork on hand to check how much my rent was. I just gave Kenny 900 because I was shorting him some money. I got all my ammunition with my guns free on that deal too, and I still shorted him cash.
The Russian.
The Russian.
Sneaky, sneaky, sneaky.
So how'd that conversation go with him?
The conversation with Humble, we covered that.
Not really. All you said was you told him what happened.
That's pretty much what it was. There wasn't really no.
He didn't have really.
He pointed Humble. I know for a fact Humble pointed out me because I yelled at him earlier
Mhm.
and said I had a short fuse. Watch out,
Yeah.
That's really.
Yeah, he pulled you aside in that manner a couple of times.
No, that was just
It
one.
was him and the cop.
Yeah, he pulled me aside for the cop a couple times.
Yeah.
But he only pulled me aside once for him. But that was a little later.
Mm.
And then he did go over, he plans on paying us the rest of our money and all that. But, we'll have to see. 'Cause, we're still waiting. We haven't got that far yet.
Something that Jade wanted me to bring up, Landman, is that before the first news broadcast, I'm pretty sure, they managed to get Wi-Fi connection on their phone for long enough to check the cameras at the apartment. Do we want to go into that? Because I know precisely
wasn't a
what
whole
happened.
lot.
Well, I remember
Hadn't
what
made it. The cloud hadn't made it that far yet.
I remember what had happened. So she was trying to use, because she had the new security detail. The what did you call them?
She had cameras. She had
No,
fog
the
lights.
people.
The people.
People that were supposed to be watching.
The leasing
The
agents.
leasing agents. So they were stationed outside.
Scott Brown Industries.
Yeah.
Oh wait, your old lady is in the chat.
Sky asked me to tell Bubba, Daddy, and Uncle Nitro she loves them all, and good night to everyone on there, even though she can't see.
Love you, Goober Butt.
Loves you, baby. But
My normal reaction.
she was trying to attempt to make the lights on the cameras flash to get their attention. So I don't know. She was hoping that they would. She fumbled, but she was hoping that maybe it would get their attention, and they could try to figure out what was going on. And she fumbled, and all exterior lighting was gone. All footage outside was gone.
Well, it's the camera.
The camera
spotlight
didn't
short
cut, just the
circuited.
light. So
Yeah.
since
No,
there
yeah,
was
but
no
she-
light showing. The
There was no
camera couldn't
footage.
see
It was
anything.
just black.
Right.
Um,
Oh,
Here's Owen.
y'all know better.
Dad, just let him in for 2 minutes. No, no shirt. Well, we got time. Just...
Okay. Anyway,
Booger and that.
There we go. That way.
what the fuck? Y'all don't listen to me.
Mom told us to.
I'm
Oh,
talking
talking
to
to
you,
you.
Bob.
Okay.
To be fair, you can't blame her.
Oh Lord.
Look at the cake.
I'm gonna move the mic, people.
Yeah, we'll set them up.
Move this here telecommunication device out of the way.
Oh shit! Look, it's aliens.
All right, ready?
Look,
Happy
look.
birthday
to you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear
Boo Boo.
Happy birthday to you. Yay! Yay!
One blow.
Oh.
You're a natural.
Hey,
man. The Juggy Dog come say happy
Love
birthday.
you. Happy birthday.
Oh.
Early birthday.
Get out there and read it real good.
Can you?
No.
We all know, Cody. Here, can they see it?
Yep.
A little bit.
Alien. Okay.
Thank
Suicide
you.
Queen, happy birthday to you.
All right, give me loves, y'all. Come here.
Now we're properly smoking.
Say hi. All right, go back inside. I love you. Here's the lawman. This is Death Hunter.
In a minute. Come on. All right, babies. Come on. Come on. All right, late to bed. Sorry, guys.
She tabooed.
Yeah, a few times. There's been a lot of taboos going on.
No.
Wilbur did it a few times.
I did.
Yes. You tabooed both of them.
No,
Well, I'll run it back. I'll run it back for you later. You'll see.
No way.
I promise you.
That's my first time. Fuck.
Hand
Make me feel
draw.
like shit.
I've done it before.
Yeah, but the mic was right there, and she said it directly into the
Well,
mic.
let's just not draw attention to it. And remember, this will be edited at a later date for subscribers only, and she can cut that out.
Sweetness.
I had to hand draw those aliens with frosting. They were balloons.
I was fixing to say,
Those were balloons.
I had to outline the
Holy
heads
shit.
and make the bodies and the eyes.
I was fixing
so
to
that
say,
you could
look,
have a
dude,
green for
you're
Humble, a
celebrating
pink
on the
for
cake
Emily, and a blue for
with
you.
Humble.
That's dope.
There
Thank
was
you.
pink, green, and blue. I was fixing to say you were celebrating with Humble. But she
that
had to
was
ruin it by
awesome.
saying it was some children's balloons. All right, so where was we at?
Suicidal
Oh,
Queen
shit.
said hi.
I think she was talking about.
Where was we at?
I'm trying to remember.
Lights,
that just
lights.
threw me off.
Lights, sure,
The lights went out. Yeah.
Which is weird. You
That's
come
your
in.
building.
Very glad that you get back. We
Oh yeah, the busted lights on my cameras.
Yeah.
Yeah, and my feed cut out. I got locked out of the connection after that.
Yeah.
Is that turn it up a little louder?
And I
No,
think
it's
right
max.
after that was the first newscast.
All right. So, who wants to go into the newscast? Who remembers it?
Is that saying
Oh.
the mic's off? Hello. Okay, it's still working.
Yeah, red is off.
I was just making sure because I had the line in it.
They both do. I tested it before we went live.
I didn't see
Oh,
what
stupid.
the light did. Hey, it's the creativity that counts.
Jay did the damn thing on that cake. Hey, Vixen played a big part, and she was in there too.
Hey,
I don't know. I wasn't in there to see who did what, but
I'd be
I do
scared
know
to
that
eat
they
that
were
thing,
both
man.
in there. So
Well,
I'd be scared to eat
Green
that
and I
thing. He
picked
said
it
he
up.
helped it.
I decorated it, and she set up the candles and helped me light everything and got the kids together.
Did you hear Greeny? He said he helped. And that looked like some type of whipped cream or butter cream.
what the fuck did you do to my cake, man?
No, I'm the one that helped pick it out. That's it. That's
Okay.
Well, he also brought it in the house.
Oh no.
Oh, you left them alone with it?
No, you were in the kitchen. He had it covered with my jacket.
Off. Jacket off.
What the fuck?
All right, Mike.
Oh, I only seen the cake while I was talking to her, so I'm out of the loop.
Yeah, I was on the phone with her while I was decorating it. So she got to see the before and after, and she got to
Oh,
see how
shit.
messy I got.
Oh, so
All
that's
right.
what took so long. He had to clean all the icing off.
Who's got the best memory of the first newscast?
I do remember what the first newscast, what we thought was the first newscast. It was, I didn't notice it as a character, but I learned it as a player, that they were loops. It was the same thing, it was all old stuff.
Yeah, like highlight reel.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't find that out till later.
No, this is the beginning part
before
of it.
the emergency broadcast started.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The news was just
Highlight
playing
reels.
old, old broadcastings and stuff like that, highlight reels and stuff like that,
Is that why it was nothing of relevance at the time?
Mhm.
Yes, he pointed that out, but a lot of us didn't pass that. I think there was only 2 or 3 people that actually noticed it.
Right.
I did.
I think it was Wilbur, Tink.
I think that's it.
No, I think Greeny passed that check
Did he?
barely.
Which one?
The
No.
very first time that the news was broadcasting anything, where everybody, where those who passed realized that it was, it wasn't, new up to date stuff. It was all old, highlights and stuff like that. And I know after that, he was like me. He filled every damn role.
Yeah.
Now, if we was playing Cthulhu there for a while, I would have been on fire.
Now, I know the breaking news the first time was basically just the woman saying, that there had been this explosion and that their sources were saying it might be terrorist activity from somebody within the company or something like that, but they had no real evidence at the time or something. And then they went to the guy in the field in the chopper.
Mm-hmm.
And right as he was starting to go in more detail about the
It's the coffee plate.
right as he was starting to go into more detail about the acid mist stuff,
Trying
trying to figure out what it was and explain it to us, the
see through it.
cast got cut off.
Something happened right before that.
He was trying to switch to infrared.
Because
he couldn't see out of the windows of the chopper.
The windows were freezing
Frosting
up.
over. They were frosting over.
But first they fogged over. Then they started the frost over.
And right as he was
And then
trying
as
to
he tried
I
to-
explain
showed
it-
him that on the last trip.
As he attempted
the
to
last
switch
one.
over to infrared, it wouldn't switch to infrared either because the lenses were fogging up.
Yeah, and then it cut like right after.
And then then the broadcast cut off.
And then panic.
And then thankfully, somebody's character had some experience with chemicals.
That was at a later date.
No, that was right after.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Oh,
you
it
noticed it on
was.
the windows.
Yeah, because I sat there,
You
like
seen
in
it-
character, staring.
At the window, noticing that the window was starting to
Frost
fog
over.
and frost, and you noticed that it wasn't just frosting; it was etching, and that's when you put together
It was,
the hydrochloric acid.
And I just sat there for 30 minutes. That's what it felt like. It's 30 minutes of me just sitting there as everyone else was doing their things, staring out the window at the fog.
And then it was awesome because the way he reacted upon
You
receiving
can
the
see
information,
him putting it together.
like he was like you can see the gears
Mhm.
just turning in his head. And then once he got the information and everything, he was like, "Oh fuck, hey, we got to get this shit covered up. This is bad. This is like really bad."
He goes, we got to board up the windows. We got to get everybody into the back of the bar.
Which we never did.
We boarded up the windows.
We really
What
couldn't
the
get
windows?
everybody in the back of the bar because shit just kept happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did get the wounded in the back.
Plus, you guys needed to be by the TV.
Yeah, we got
for a lot
the
of it.
We got the wounded in the back of the bar.
we got Ariel in the back of the bar, and then we got the drunk in the fucking
In the
bathroom.
bathroom.
Oh yeah, what happened
So
with the drunk?
so
Are we on the part yet?
yes.
Yeah, it was right after the first broadcast.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think I know what you're talking about when he shouted.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So-
oh no,
the-
no.
yeah.
This,
I
this
think that was after the second broadcast.
no,
No,
it was after the first.
because they name dropped Petrochem, and that's
Oh,
what
It was
okay.
as I was
He-
putting it together.
just to. Bob is a religious zealot
Tinson.
and a conspiracy theorist.
Now, it's something we did skip over, and it was a very minor thing, but it will elaborate on the drunk. So after the events of the boat, and getting inside and getting the doors
Oh,
and
yeah.
everything sealed off, the landlord decided he's going to buy everybody a drink. And when I say a drink, now keep in mind, Sparky doesn't drink. Sparky drinks non-alcoholic beer.
I was trying to do something nice after the ordeal.
Yes. And Sparky appreciated that. But like Sparky said, what am I supposed to do with this? I don't drink.
He gave it to Bob.
Yeah,
Well,
but-
actually, what was said was he looked at it and goes, "Thanks, but what am I supposed to do with this?" The landlord says, "Drink it." I'm like, "But I don't drink." Then give it to somebody. I knew there was a drunk. He was probably broke. He's been in there all day. Here you go. Have the
so we
scotch.
stated to be broke.
Top shelf scotch. And he downed it like a bottle of water.
Dwayne said he's going to bed.
Good night,
Good
Dwayne.
night, homie. Whoop whoop. We love you.
Tink said, hey,
Scare off
I-
all the
Say
bad
this,
dreams.
bitch.
I
Whoop,
tried
whoop,
to
what
say
up,
that, but
Rebel?
you didn't
Talking.
hear me.
Yeah, he
We're
said hi.
recapping.
Well, I'm just saying, I'm trying to keep
Well,
you
you gotta
updated with the
speak
chat
out.
like you asked.
You gotta speak the fuck up. Why is
I said
it
it
when
twice
we're sitting
at
here
this
talking
level.
about non-important shit, you got no problem yelling. But when I need to hear you or you're trying to role play, you go, "Hey, y'all, I just want to let you know."
I was talking at the same level.
I know what it is.
I said
I
it
know
twice.
exactly what it is.
Well, then he's just too loud.
I know exactly what it is. Why she's doing that? Because she grew up in that Justin Bieber age, and she's trying to do that little whisper thing he does.
Baby, baby, baby.
No, not that one.
If I was her boyfriend.
There you go.
She's a Justin Bieber fan.
No, I used to be.
And you
really
married her.
Hey, you're
I
not
like to
supposed to
pee.
put that on the
I
lawn,
like to
man.
pee in buckets and things at
You
my
ashamed?
neighbors.
No. That's
My
so.
kissy fits at the camera, spit on my fans and haters. I love Selena Gomez, but I love Brazilian prostitutes more.
Are you singing Key of Awesome right now?
No,
Key of Awesome!
that's a Smosh parody.
Okay, so where were we?
To pee in buckets.
Okay, so
All right,
Sidebarring, people. Sidebarring.
So
We hit 54
what,
minutes.
Does anyone remember what Bob yelled after that
Yes.
newscast?
I told you that is the devil.
Spot on.
I
Jesus.
fucking knew it.
I knew it.
They're trying to kill us all.
Yeah.
I had a feeling we were all gonna die when that
And then he
bomb
commits to
exploded.
saying they're
Right.
going to
We
come
all
for
did.
us.
Especially Wilbur, because he was like
He was
on
on
that
the ladder when it
motherfucker.
blew.
I was like, all right, oh fuck.
We're doomed. We're fucked. There's
So what went down after that?
Well, after that, let's see. We got all the windows were taped off and boarded off.
A lot of people help with that.
So, we had NPCs and PCs both doing that. After that,
It was the
there was
incident.
another broadcast
Yeah.
where
Yeah,
they were
before
showing
the
incident.
they were showing where they were talking about evacuating people and getting people out of the area. They were showing it on the TV,
Showing rescue
teams evacuating families from their homes.
Here's one.
Zoe, back in there, honey.
Are you ready?
Those are pictures that were going.
That was from the third broadcast.
I was one of the other.
Ask mommy if you can go ahead and have some.
I think.
Tell her I said it's okay if it's okay with her.
Well,
Baby, daddy's filming right now. I need you to go in there, okay?
Oh, there it is.
What?
The one picture that was brought.
Ask mommy if you can have a piece of cake.
They were broadcasted
I
together.
love you. Close the door.
This one.
Thank you.
There was actually three
All right.
altogether, I think.
You
But those
retired?
were on the third broadcast.
There
right?
was two. Yeah, that was.
Those are on the second.
Those were the second.
Oh, so they were on this one. Yeah. At the end of that broadcast,
Then I.
there was these two. And the first one reads, symptoms of the hydrogen fluoride poisoning. Burns on the skin, blurred vision, breathing difficulty, bleeding sores, blindness, hacking cough, severe irritation of the nose, throat, and eyes. Sounds like COVID. The second one was a picture showing the affected area, telling you how big the spill diameter is at approximately 4 square miles. And the rate of growth was unknown.
And constant.
Very constant.
Um,
Well, aside from the increase.
there was something. There was a key thing with that. I can't remember other than that what it was exactly. It was something to do with the guy that was talking.
You never saw him on camera.
Well,
And-
that was you stated that at the last one.
Yeah.
He was talking about something when the audio and all cut off.
Oh, he was talking about how Petrochem didn't have enough gluconate to cover the entire area.
Yeah.
And I noticed, and I don't know if I'm the only one that noticed, but I do have a question about that in referencing to it.
Okay.
Every time somebody would start talking about them, and whether phone call or what, it would, instantly cut.
Mhm.
Were they monitoring the stuff? Had they hacked the systems
This
and
is
monitored
my
it?
favorite part.
I know the answer, teacher.
I didn't ask you.
So, Elizabeth,
Yes.
the PR.
The communications person.
No. She's put PR for Petrochem.
Oh, I thought she was
Public
communications.
Public relations.
Oh.
She has a friend who works for Net 54.
Okay.
She also has a friend who works at Internet.
Okay.
And before any of the broadcasts went down, she got a hold of both of them to get a spin on the story.
Okay.
And basically set some rules down. Look, don't let no calls go out. If anyone starts digging too deep, you cut the feed. And so she's had the news and the phone lines in her pocket the whole scenario.
Until the very end. Yeah.
Ain't that
Very good
why?
connections.
But not
what's her
long.
Face got so pissed off.
I
that he
want.
talked to?
Oh, yeah.
There's a reason for that. We'll get to that. But there is a part that I want Wilbur to tell everybody because it was more. more influential on him than anybody else.
Is it the incident?
Yes, it was
The incident.
directly after
Directly
this because the guy was starting to flip the fuck out, and he was, starting to fucking rampage.
All right. Before we go into that, would you like to divulge to the other players real quick that little section on your character sheet?
So, Yvonne
This
was
is
very lucky with his roles for enemies,
friends,
tragic
all that.
affairs,
Tragic
and
love
friends. I only had one tragic affair, 0 enemies, and 2 friends. The only one that's really important is the tragic affair. She went cyber psycho.
Had to be put down.
Had to be put down. Most likely, I was the one who did it.
Now, does everyone understand the reaction he had?
Yes.
The
All right,
fucking
go
getting
ahead.
into the reaction and what led up to it. I don't know if anyone noticed it, but in roleplay, I was at least somewhat cautious to approach the fully fucking cybered out dude after what happened. I'm pretty sure
I
he
noticed.
got it. Yeah, he got it.
But you kind of
Oh, yeah.
overcame that, and you
Yeah.
started working with him, and kind of buddied with him.
Yeah,
And I couldn't understand. I couldn't tell whether that was out of I'm this guy's cool thing, or if it was one of those keep your friends close, keep your enemies closer
I'll say
thing.
this: Razorhead is not a bad guy.
Not a bad guy.
He's a nice dude. He takes up for his
It's just
friends.
what
He's
I
very
did.
Smart. All it is 2 things. One, he had 0 empathy. He was in single digits left
Yeah.
in humanity points
Which,
because of all the cyberware.
If for anyone who doesn't
So,
know,
all it would take
Yeah.
is the slightest push to push him over that
For-
cyber psychosis edge. And when he heard what he heard,
Okay.
it flipped that switch.
let's get into that. So for anyone who
I'm
doesn't
gonna
know,
step out here and Pete. You
Go.
get into that.
anyone who doesn't know, the system of humanity goes off of your empathy. The empathy is a single digit. The humanity is literally just basically at the start. It's double your empathy. Well, not double. It's 10 times your empathy.
So, if you have 50, your empathy's 5. If your humanity's 70, it's 7, and so on and so
Whatever
forth.
the number in the tens place of the humanity point
It's gonna be
is what your empathy is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So technically, if your stuff is like say a 47, it's a 40.
If it's a 29, you have
it's a
2
2.
empathy.
Yeah. So if it's like a 39, it's a 3. You go off the first number, which is something that happened to me later, but we'll get into that afterwards.
That I have a question. Say somebody had like 102, would that make their empathy a 10?
It's impossible.
I'm not saying it's possible. I'm saying hypothetically.
It doesn't matter because it's not possible. The
Ah,
highest you can get on any one stat is 10.
Got it.
Period.
So
I can do
okay, if it was a 100, would it be a 10?
Yes.
Okay. So
No, it's not the same thing. 102
Truly
is not
not.
possible. 100 is.
It was the same hypothetical situation is what I'm getting at. If it was
No,
a
it's not.
if it was
his
a 10 in
hypothetical
that
situation,
spot,
it's possible.
It's reaching for the maximum.
If you would have just said 100, then yes, I would have said the same thing. But you had to go overboard and say 102.
I'm just gonna shut up. If I want to say something stupid,
Yeah.
Something stupid.
I love you, sister.
I love you too. I did all that stuff.
I made you a mini case just for your campaign.
I did all this stuff for birthday. You're still mean.
I'm not mean. I'm honest.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, and you're mean when you're honest.
I'm not. Would you prefer me to lie to you?
No, just be nicer with your honesty.
Okay. Are you ready? No, because that's not possible.
So much better.
Yes, that's actually
That was
more
great.
rude.
Ruder is
Ruder.
not a word.
There is not a word.
more there.
All right, where were we?
we were
He was-
leading up to the incident. I was trying to
Okay.
explain it.
Go ahead.
I lost my train of thought.
You hadn't started explaining the
I hadn't
incident. You
started
was explaining the.
He was his humanity was like in the very
Yeah,
low
yeah,
single
so-
digits.
His
And-
empathy was 0. Humanity was like.
It
What
was
made
the
him
newscast.
snap?
The newscast. is
What about
made
it made him
snap.
I don't-
No, it's not.
No,
Yes, it is.
It's what I told him directly, right?
Yes.
It was both.
Yes,
It was-
the
I told him
newscast caused a little
a
more
little
humanity
bit, but mine is what
lost
pushed him over.
because
the
they
edge. This is
stated in the newscast that the terrorists were probably in a nearby building. The only one open was the bar, so he assumes the terrorists are in this bar with me. And then what did you say?
So we got into that.
Does that explain a little more of his mindset when you told him why he reacted that
I
way?
know. Yeah, I kind of assumed that. I was
What
going
was
on
it
a
you
limb
told
to
him?
trust him.
He's getting there.
Give me the fucking story.
Don't hit her. Do not hit her with the Irish.
All right, go ahead. No, he's Russian.
Shut up. Hey, come on. Fuck. Okay. Let's get to a moment. Okay, so what happened was he started asking me questions because we were starting to hand out cards to each other because we both play cards. Didn't know what we were going to play.
5-card draw.
5-card draw. We weren't. We
It
didn't
was.
do that.
It was gonna be.
It's going to be. It was going to be. So he starts asking questions, and I seeking for because Ivan is a mentally troubled individual, not like in the way that he was born with it. No, it's his environment that made him. He's a nomad. Nomads get like kind of fucked up in this universe, don't they? Yeah.
Mad
And-
Max.
So he's searching for some kind of
Not from Stranger.
safety in this kind of guy because he truly does remind him of his, past lover, and he was just trying to like be friends with him. Actually, just friends, unlike what this guy would assume.
I believe they call that docking, and yes, I saw it.
Jesus. Okay,
I
so
don't even believe in cheeses. Anyway,
I confided in this. It was very short on my hand that I should have done this. I shouldn't have. I confided in this almost cyber psycho that I was present when the boat exploded, but I wasn't the one who caused it. Before I could get that second part out,
keep in
grabbed
mind,
me
this
by the
is
fucking throat.
almost immediately after the news said that the terrorists are in the building.
I didn't catch that part of the news broadcast. Like in character, I didn't catch that. Out of character, I didn't catch that at all. So when he asked questions about it, I'm brutally honest. I'm going to Jesus the camera.
That was my fault. I bumped the ledge of the table with my knee.
I confided in him that I was present. This dude, cyber psycho, literally grabbed me from across the table by the throat, dragged me over the table, and held me in the air with his magnum to my face. Very fun times. And
How'd you react?
fucking, this is the only thing that terrified Yvonne.
Now, I have
Literally.
a question. That goes along with your story. How lethal is a flashbang?
We'll get to that in a moment.
So those eyes, though.
Sparky and Landman were trying to save me. As far as I know, it was just him that Sparky that was trying to, because I didn't see Landman out the corner of my eye. I'm focused on the Cyber Psycho right in front of me. Which, getting to that, he turned Cyber Psycho right as he grabbed me. I watched it happen for the second time. Fuck. Yeah.
We love you, buddy.
And this is the only time that during the entire session, even after getting directly exploded, that Yvonne showed actual fear through his voice. I'm pretty sure at least some of them heard it.
I did.
Sparky was sitting right next to me, so
I was behind the cyber psycho.
on the table, sitting right next to me, he snuck up behind the cyber psycho.
Death pulls up his SMG and points it at Razorhead.
And I'm fucking,
And what was it Hogan said?
put your fucking gun down. I do not want to die today. Like, I screamed that out loud. And, like, because this is a dude, if he gets shot and he doesn't go down, he can just go, and I'm dead. Because I have no cyberware.
Every single limb he had was cyber. Half
He
of his
was
head
chromed.
was cyber.
He was chromed. Atom Smasher type
He
chrome.
was an almost Terminator.
Pretty much. Have you seen Terminator Salvation? Have you seen Terminator Salvation?
Seen it.
Think Marcus.
Yeah. That's what I assumed.
Yeah.
Okay, so what ends up happening is Sparky, living up to his name of Sparky, not really, but in my own brain, yeah, pulls a flash grenade out, pulls the pin, grabs the Cyber Psycho, and shoves it in his mouth.
I didn't pull the pin and then shove it in his mouth.
Oh, he shoved it in his mouth and
I
then
come
pulled
up
it back.
behind him with the flashbang.
Behind
I
him.
reach up and grab his arm
his
and then
arm.
slam the grenade into his mouth.
And then you pulled it back?
Well,
It was he gave it a minute.
I gave
Yeah,
it a
he gave it a
minute
minute.
because I couldn't see him from the front,
Yeah,
so
he
I
didn't
didn't
know it
know
was
if he was truly cyberpsycho or if he just went the fuck off and was pissed. So I didn't know what the fuck happened. The only thing I know is I'm over here, and the next thing I know, my big ass Russian buddy snatched up off the fuking ground by
Like
a guy
a rag doll.
with fucking big ass metal arms. So I'm thinking, okay, this dude's got strength in him. It's like a motherfucker. I'm like, fuck this shit. Flashbang. I got the jump on him. Rolled fucking high as fuck on the stealth.
Like a 21.
Well, it was
No,
higher,
it was higher than that.
23
It was
wasn't
like a
It
25.
was like a 29.
Was it?
Oh, yeah, no, because it was bordering 30.
Yeah. And then, so I jammed the grenade in his mouth. I had a hold of his arm. And, fuck, I'm holding on to the dude's bigger than me, so I'm assuming I'm probably halfway off the fucking ground.
Monkeying on his back.
And, like, I didn't say anything, but after that, it went into, like, a short combat. And,
I can elaborate.
yeah.
Because I know what kicked that off. What happened is as soon as he shoved the flash grenade in his mouth, bear in mind, I don't have any fucking cybernetics as his character. I rolled so high on a strength check, athletics, I believe it was.
Yes.
I ripped one of this dude's metal fingers off and freed myself from the chokehold. Literal chokehold. And dropped down on the ground. Grabbed my magnum from the fucking table and shot him in the chest.
Thankfully, it didn't go
Thankfully, I
through.
didn't shoot him. Because
That's the only good thing about him having a fuck ton of cyber.
gonna get
If it had
stopped.
been a regular meat bag, I would have probably got
Yeah,
Oh,
because
yeah.
it was a very heavy round that went through.
You would have been hit for sure.
Yeah, point blank range. Yeah, it would have went through. I was terrified.
Thankfully, my handgun skill is also extremely
Because
fucking high.
everybody else's fucking
Like
first
special.
aid was trash.
Nobody
First name was
wanted to
decent.
put points into it.
Hey,
I
because-
did.
See, when they created their characters, it was all, we've got a med tech in the party.
You didn't.
And, Tank wasn't able to be here today, so we did not have a med tech in the
I
party.
don't even have the
See,
first aid.
I got first aid
I had
automatic,
like an 8 in it.
but
I
as
think everyone got it.
yeah,
It's just
I put some
Yeah,
points.
almost no one put points
I didn't put a lot of points in it. I did put a few points in it because it's useful. Because there always needs to be I don't care what system you're playing, whether it's D&D, Cthulhu, Cyberpunk, or what. If you're playing a game and you think you can get by with, we have a cleric, or we have this person that's a doctor, or we have a med tech. It doesn't matter if that person gets injured.
Someone's gonna
Or
have
They're
doesn't
gonna have to
make
be
it to a session.
right. You're gonna have somebody that can fill that spot. I typically fill that spot as best I can, depending on what I'm playing. Even with the last game, campaign that I played in, I was the healer.
Do you guys remember what happened right after that incident?
right after I shot him.
yes,
Oh,
I do.
man.
He
That
shot
was after.
the cyber psycho. Shot. I can't remember if he shot at Hogan or if he shot at Death,
He shot.
but he missed.
He shot at you, I
he
think.
shot like over my shoulder.
He
hit
missed
the wall.
Hogan. Went past Death. Went through a wall and shot the drunk in the leg.
It wouldn't have gone
Go to
past
the
Death
bathroom.
because that Death was behind the counter.
Oh, yeah, you're right. You're
It
right.
just- it
Who
just
was
passed
that? There
me.
was somebody else behind you a little
I
bit.
think it was it you?
Yeah, because she
Yeah.
was right behind
Because
us.
I was gonna try and help y'all out, and
Yeah.
I didn't get the chance.
I mean, after the
You're
whole
right.
after that whole thing.
Not actual character.
Oh yeah. So like,
This
my
is-
character is a small guy. Like, there's only one other player that has a character the same size or smaller than mine, and they're a female, and I'm a guy. I'm like, yeah, like I'm the smallest one, and this dude's bigger than me by a lot. So I'm like, fuck it, the dude's nuts. And I yanked the pin out of the grenade. I attempted to throw him under the table, and it didn't work. So I run like hell.
Okay, to elaborate on what happened with the shot, which we were going to get to before the incident,
Mhm.
it hit the drunk. He wall banged the drunk in the
bathroom.
leg. Yeah.
Yeah, I
All
said
you
that.
hear from the bathroom is "Oh!"
We didn't hear a word from this dude after.
Nobody even checked on him.
I'm pretty sure he bled out.
People kept saying,
He
"We need to go
might
check on
He
him." Like,
died
you go
anyway.
do that.
He was shit-faced. Alcohol's a blood thinner.
Yep.
It probably
See,
hit
as-
an artery.
As players, we knew where
Well,
he got
his
hit,
leg.
but it's our characters didn't know.
I
No.
assumed he got fucking hit in the throat.
So I'm
no
not
one
going
checked on
in there
him.
to see this
Right,
dude's,
I know.
you know, fucked up like that. I don't know if he's dead or what. And I'm like, nah, I don't want to go see that shit. I just seen that shit on not
We're
that
not
long
risking the
ago.
humanity.
So the flashbang goes off in his mouth.
He
That's
hits the
pretty
ground. Fucking.
I think that
Rises.
flashbang alone got him to mortally wounded.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It
My shot
fucking-
got him to mortally wounded, right?
Did it?
Yeah, because it was my
Yeah,
shot.
his shot got him mortally wounded.
So
He
I
dealt
fucking- I
high
almost one-tapped
damage.
this dude.
And then the flashbang put him into the fucked up category.
Yeah, he hit the ground. His fucking jaws, face all melted up. Fried his cyberware in his head. And then as soon as he stands up, Death has this cyber arm that's got a grappling hand.
Go get your grab man.
And he reaches over and grabs him. And he didn't grab him, he punched him.
Yeah, he
He
grabbed him with the
shot out
hand.
the grapple
and
hand, pulled him
boom,
to him, and then punched him in his face so hard he caved his
Yeah.
skull into
Yes,
his brain.
grapple hand.
he pulled
Fire,
him, and then once he
pull,
got the
slam.
momentum, he let go so the hand come back, so he had the cyber
Oh,
hand.
so he went.
And then as he was flying up, boom, right into the face.
This is fucking sick.
I was trying to get him to do
Caved it
something
in.
different if you wanted to, because he was wanting to grab him and throw him or grab him and do this. I'm like, well, I mean,
He wanted to pull a Hulk versus Loki in
Boom,
Avengers
boom,
1.
Yeah.
boom, boom.
Yeah.
But he only had one action. So I was like, you're only going to be able to hit him one time. So he did the Scorpion from Mortal Kombat thing, which I think was really fucking cool.
It was.
Like he caved
Incredible.
his face to the point where the metal in his head pierced his brain. It's pretty cool.
And then,
Um,
after that, Sparky did the tech thing.
Steel.
I salvaged everything I could.
Steel. And then incidents. Even more.
After that, I believe there was another door incident.
Yes. The first incident
That
with the
was
door
the
was
front
the
one, yeah.
side entrance.
Uh-huh.
The second incident was the front door.
Which I believe I warned you about
Yes.
because I went back there
Yeah,
to
you
check
saw
on her
some
and
on
make
the
coffee.
camera.
I seen it on the camera and I was like, "Yo, front
Yeah,
door."
and then Yvonne pushes it by the door.
Mm-hmm.
Any of you guys know what that was?
What was?
The
I'm
Dude,
guessing
fucking
his
dying?
lungs being eaten by the
Dying.
acid.
His lungs.
his entire bottom half of his face was gone. He was just
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I told you he sounded like Walker.
But it was awesome because
He just looked
Yvonne
like
post up against the door. The dude's banging on the door doing that. And that, how did you say that? You have to do it the exact way you did it.
I probably can't.
Oh.
I can do it really close.
Okay.
Come on. So post up on door. Get into Yvonne. Okay. This is an automated message. The bar is closed. Please come back at a further time. We will be open then. We enjoy your patronage. And just fucking shuts up after that. Just goes entirely silent.
and so does the after that I think we had our third news broadcast.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think there was some name drops. and
Yes,
pictures
yes.
in that one.
Wasn't that the one where
Yes.
Bitch Face come on?
Yep.
Doing
I
the
was talking
interview?
about oh yeah, so yeah, it was the interview bit. Yep.
The newscaster
The
came back
editors
on
put
with
the
somebody
picture up
else.
as she said his name.
But
Would you like to elaborate that one?
yes,
Yeah, move the mic closer.
basically,
Turn the camera to her?
Mm,
Or you want to get in the camera? Or
I'm good. They've
Okay,
been
good.
hearing me without seeing me.
Yeah.
But
she's the news guy now. Just narrating over.
yeah,
the
there we go.
the newscaster come on Cam with this other lady that she was interviewing, and she's like, I'm here with, I think her name was Elizabeth Shell,
Elizabeth Show.
which
the
was
newscaster was Nancy.
wasn't Elizabeth
Yeah.
basically like the CEO of that
She was head of
Yeah.
PR.
of the company that had the ship that
Mhm.
exploded, and basically she was saying, like, yeah, it was an attack from the inside by this guy named Simon, and they put up a picture, and it was the Simon guy that we had been
which was currently
talking with and dealing with and interacting with.
Simon Carmichael.
Yeah, and she made it, the way she talked about him without ever giving his title made it sound like he was some corporate executive, like he was a head honcho of some sort that was doing some corporate espionage.
Right.
And whenever, we saw that clip, like, the interviewer, the newscaster lady, started asking her questions about the chemicals that were on board the ship. Like, we know this is what this reaction is. Do you have any idea how that chemical got on your ship? She's like, well, we don't carry that. She's like, well, then how did it just magically turn into this? And as soon as the newscast lady started, questioning her, and the woman couldn't fucking argue it, it got cut. And that's when we all turned and looked at Simon like, what the fuck? And I believe Wilbur tackled him.
She also treated me, he, the landman, treated me like a dog, sicked me on him.
No, that was me.
Yeah, that was not me. I just watched.
I was still over in that corner, and he was close, and I looked at you, and I said, Hogan, grab him.
Landman also said something.
I did not.
I don't
I
think.
believe it was you.
I don't think Landman did.
Nope.
My brain is fucked.
I
do
was
know what
going to
happened.
say something to
Something
him,
happened
but you
during
tackled
that.
him.
What happened?
As you were trying to, say, because, I'd interact with you, and I'm like, hey, get it.
Yeah.
And as I did that, Death Hunter's like, well, I'm going to do it too. And I'm sitting like, no, be careful. He's old.
Yeah, and I had to ask the DM here if that would impart any penalties on me since I'm going in as he's tackling him as well.
Oh, that lady also said that they were putting up a 10,000 euro buck reward for
Yes.
this guy to be brought in.
Could be brought
They
in
never
later.
said whether it was dead or alive. They just said, you bring him in, you get $10,000, basically.
What happened after that?
So,
He tackled him to the
The
ground.
fucking most awesome part of the whole thing.
All right,
There
let's get
was-
through his little
fucking.
interrogation before we do
Interrogation
that
scene.
scene.
There was also a scene right after that, which I would like to touch on.
Is that the one we're talking about?
No, because this happened afterwards. That's when I went off on the cop.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It actually showed that's when I took the point of humanity for being.
Yeah, when you started going a
Yeah.
little crazy.
Fucking insane.
Yeah, because until that point, he hadn't had the chance to in process.
Right.
I was literally sitting in the back fucking drinking before this happened. Like, I slammed down a bottle of vodka. Like,
Top
not even
shelf,
2
too.
minutes. Top shelf vodka, not even 2 minutes before this. So I run up, jump over the fucking bar, and tackle him into the wall. Glad I didn't break it, because it was an exterior wall. We would
Yeah.
have been in the
I'm glad you
gas.
didn't break Simon.
Right.
So,
He's like, well.
and funny thing is, I didn't take an actual, conventional setting-wise melee weapon. I took a fucking sword.
What SQ say?
Headed to bed, y'all. Long drive to something. Tired. Great live, y'all. Good night. Good night,
Woo,
Suicidal
woo, woo.
Queen.
Good night, baby.
I had my sword, Simon's throat, asking him what happened and why he did it. You know what he said?
thought you
I'll have
asked
to
him who it worked
paraphrase.
for.
I'm like you. I can't remember exact dialogue that we did. But basically,
worked for.
No, I had
he
asked that
throwing
earlier
his
on.
arms up, stating, "Look, I was set up. I was framed. This is a lie. I had nothing to do with this. I was here to make sure that the transfer went
He
okay."
said he was a security guard.
No, he didn't say that. He pulled out his. He had him reach in and pull out his credentials, and it was on his
Oh,
wallet.
that's
Well, he
what
did
you asked
say
him
he
who
was
he
a
was on the
security guard,
phone
but he
with.
told it to Wilbur.
Yeah.
You asked who he was on the phone with when we got there,
Yeah.
and he said his
Um,
boss.
And he also had me pull up the call log on his agent, which is a phone,
Mm-hmm.
and it was indeed his boss. So then I pulled him up, and the cop started trying to talk to me. Bear in mind, the cop is right in front of me, in between, like, Simon is in between us.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember exactly what happened, because that is a part where I went fully into character, and that's parts I don't remember.
What triggered you to start snapping on him was as you were pulling him up, Death Hunter goes right after having smashed Cyber Freak's face in. Goes, all right, guys, we don't need to kill anybody.
Oh yeah,
And then you lost your
I
shit.
lost my fucking shit because very a lot happened. Very a lot. Very a lot happened. And it got to the point where the cop was just hammering me to put this guy down, even though I was helping him to his feet. And as soon as I got Simon to his feet and I heard that, I was fucking. Yvonne snapped off. I almost fucking shot the cop. Like, completely. I almost pulled out my fucking magnum again and shot the cop.
I do have to state something, and I really don't mean to pick on you at all, but you notice how out of all the different people that went the fuck off on that cop, Bryce didn't get upset and take it personally, not once.
I didn't do that today. Did
Not today, no, but when you first started playing,
I? Oh yeah.
he's very new. He's only played a few times.
I have admitted I was a shit piece of shit.
Like I
player
said, I
back
wasn't
then.
trying to pick on you. I just thought that was really fucking cool.
No, it was
How
cool.
he was
That's really
mature
great.
enough to be like, okay, his character's yelling at my character. He's not yelling at me.
Yeah.
That's very awesome to see with him, not only at his age, but also with as little experience he has in games.
I think the only
I'm
time
extremely
he
proud of
got
him for that.
even the slightest bit upset is if he wanted to say or do something extra while
it
we were
got-
trying to do other stuff.
Yeah,
And we told him, well, hang on just a second. And he was like, oh.
yeah.
And then as soon as we were
That's
done,
most
then he would try again.
In our defense, there was a lot of things he wanted to do that would have fucked shit up very badly.
Yes.
So there was a few
Um,
times I had to be like, Bub, trust me, don't want to do that.
There was a few
There-
times me and Nexus had to explain to him, like, well, if you do that, this is what's going to happen.
Right.
And he was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. He's a smart kid.
Yeah.
So you had your little mini interrogation with Simon.
Mini interrogation.
Went off on death.
Yelling match with the cop. Almost fucking blew his head off.
Didn't you and I roll human perception to
What
see if
hap-
we could trust him?
There was one more thing on that
Yeah.
newscast.
I-
after
Or was
the
that the
interview.
other guy?
That was the very end.
Does
Okay.
anyone remember what that was?
The other broadcast? I do.
It
That
was
was
the
right
same
before.
broadcast, but it was after the interview.
That was after the interview was done, and it was after I tackled him because we tuned back in after I tackled him and got him back up. It was the voice of the on-scene reporter that was previously in the aerial vehicle. You know, the one who had all the lenses fog up. We never saw his face, and it was just looping recordings from earlier in the day. That's all it was
with
doing.
with his voice
With
narrating.
his voice narrating.
And wasn't the earlier recordings of them, like, helping people and
Yeah.
shit?
Mhm. And
Oh, wasn't that the time that while we were dealing with talking to Simon that you started fucking with that radio?
yes, it was.
No,
What
that was a
happened
little.
with
That was a little bit
A
after.
little bit.
There was something that happened.
Like,
I don't know if I zoned out and it was already covered, so I'm gonna bring it up again anyway if it has. But there was drinks that were being passed around.
That
It
had
has
to
not
been-
been brought up.
Yes.
That is not-
There was
that
drinks
happened
being
directly
passed
I
around
think
by the
everybody else is more
bartender,
proud of that
I
than me.
believe.
No,
No,
the waitress.
The waitress,
Cherry.
Cherry.
Brought
She
us
had.
all, like, around
She
about
brought
the
everybody
house
around of
first.
drinks. And who was it that had passed that?
I think only one person
Me.
was it.
Yeah.
That's why I reacted
both
the
of
way
you
I did.
saw it?
I started walking
He
over
saw
as
it,
she-
I was the one that
as she was
reacted.
grabbed.
Right. Okay. So
'Cause I was
here,
across the
move
bar.
the mic down toward sister and then go ahead and talk about that.
Well, she brought a round of drinks over on the house from the bartender, and she started passing them out. And she went to hand Simon his, and they were talking. Simon wasn't paying no attention, but me and Wilbur noticed his drink was bubbling, almost like liquid acid or some shit. So my immediate reaction was I knocked the shit to the floor, and Simon's like, "Hey, what the hell?" And I jumped up, grabbed the bitch by her hair, yanked her head back. And I was like, "What the fuck did you put in his drink? What the fuck is that?" And she just smiled and she goes, "That's my $10,000 or some shit like that."
Yeah,
So I
10,000
slammed her
eddies.
fucking face in the ground.
So it's about 10,000 eddies.
Knock her
Hit
out.
her hard enough to knock her stoned the fuck out.
Break her nose as well.
And they're like, "What the fuck?" So I think the only one that didn't ask what the fuck that was about was Wilbur.
I
You
didn't
know
ask.
what was in it?
I'm guessing some kind of poison.
Sleeping pills.
Roofie. He's about to get roofie.
So I told Simon, I was like, I just saved your ass. She was gonna fucking fuck you up. And he's like, oh shit. I was like, you want a non-roofied drink now? And he's like, yes, please.
I'm sorry, that fucking word stumble was perfect.
So when I went and told the bartender what happened, not only did he pour a whole new round of drinks for everybody, he took it over himself so that he could go by her, pull her up by her hair, and whisper in her ear, "You're fired." It was
Fucking
great.
fire.
You're fucking fired, Cherry. It was great.
And then he just like dropped. Mic drop.
And then we had your
She's like,
radio scene. So
Yes.
you want to pass this back over?
yeah.
So
Sit right here in the
Very
middle.
racially
I'm gonna
motivated.
have to adjust probably whenever that gets moved. This is
so
gonna be loud.
I was sitting there, and I always enjoy using.
Tink said, "I saw it too."
Ah!
Oh yeah.
Everybody said that was one of their favorite moments of the game, except me.
Like, I always try to utilize my character's skills, regardless of what they are. And as a tech, that's something that, during any type of,
Because I think at this point you guys had only tried the phone. You hadn't
Yeah.
tried the
Right.
radio yet.
right,
I tried the internet for the
Yeah.
cams, but that was it.
and we had noticed, that I'm trying to remember how it was that we had yeah,
You
We-
had decided to see if you could get a radio converted to a scanner to see if any of the radio signals were picking up.
yeah,
And that's how you found out that the radio signals weren't being tampered with.
right. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to get a radio. I'm going to use my tech skills and stuff to, try to get the radio to work. I took it.
Pick up a signal.
Yeah, I took a radio and turned it into a radio scanner.
Mm-hmm.
And like I rolled on, I'm like, oh, and he's like, a +2 for this. I'm like, okay. So I did that, and I was like, hold up, is that just because I have a glove that gives me a +2 to my tech skills? I'm like, okay. And I'm like, is that because of this, or is that because he said, yeah, we add that to as well, And I was like, all right. So I did that, and I was like, I looked at from my paper, like, oh, hold up. And he's like, what? I said, and I asked because I don't get to use the role skills very often. And I was like, well, what do these do? And I said, explain, exactly how that works. And he said, was it a +4?
Yeah, you add your rank to your tech checks,
Right.
and your rank is a 4, so you added an extra 4.
And which gave me a total of a +8. And I think I rolled like a fucking 9 on it. So I wound up getting like a 27 total because the skill itself had 10 on
It
it.
was a pretty good roll.
No, the skill that I had to use had a 9 on it. So it was 9 and 9, which is 18 plus
Plus 8 total.
yeah. So it was a
27.
27. And wound up getting the radio, but I couldn't get the radio to work. So I handed the radio off to the rush, and I'm like, hey, see if you can get this to work. And he's like, okay. I said, no, it's put together like it's supposed to. I just can't get it I can't get it programmed. And as he's doing it, I was like, I figured I give it to the Russian. They're good with radios and electronics. And he got it like that.
I turned like 3 dials and it worked.
He did. And what did you
Yeah.
guys hear?
We heard the corporate
The PR lady.
the PR lady.
We didn't know it first. We didn't know it was her.
You
Uh,
found out when,
Well,
they
I
sent
think
you
it
We
the-
started
got on
with her
it. He
crew
managed
that
to
was
get
on
a
the
channel
podcast.
that she was using, and we heard her tell some other individuals that Simon had to be found and
kill all the
kill him and kill any and all survivors that they come across. And they replied back to it, we're not hired assassins or something like that.
professional hitman.
Yeah, we're not professional hitmen. And we relayed this mess, this was relayed to everybody. So, and I mean, it wasn't, they said in the radio, there's going to be like an hour and a half, 2 hours before they can get to where we were. And it was like 10 minutes later, and like armed guards show, like they armed men that look like military shows up with assault rifles. And they had this weird little tunnel thing connected to the building. It was sealed up. So the acidic,
Cloud.
the acidic acid cloud was not getting in to the
Yeah.
tunnel.
We heard the chopper first, so we
Yeah.
sent
I did not.
Simon to
He
the-
I did not.
He didn't.
All I noticed was the door being opened and these guys with guns.
I know me and I don't
Oh,
remember who else.
Before that happened, though, I did make a phone call to Arasaka.
Yeah, you talked to Chip.
I talked to Chip, and I started explaining to him what was going on. And I told him that we had to make the call quick because they're interfering with the phone services and the internet. And like Chip did not have that because Arasaka runs the internet. Like that's their shit. And once he found that out, he was like, tell me what you can tell me. And I explained to him, the woman from
Petrochem.
Petrochem, she was trying to get there to the security guy, and they were trying to capture him, kill him, whatever. They were going to kill anybody that they found. And, I told him, I was like, so this guy's going to need a job, and he asked what his name was, and I told him, I know him. He said, I'll get this taken care of right now. And like, and just a couple minutes later, the army guys show up.
See, like we passed the perception check, so we heard the chopper and shit.
Mhm.
And as soon as we did, I looked at Simon. I was like, "Get the fuck to the office now!"
Yeah.
So when they come in asking for him, we're like, "We have no idea who you're talking about."
Initially.
And how'd that go?
It started off going pretty well.
Well, after they talked to Simon, and he said, "Well, can my friends come with me?" And they're like, "Yeah, just point them out." And he pointed at the group. We were all under the impression he pointed at everybody in the bar. Everybody at the table misheard what was said.
Further elaboration.
Yes.
What fully happened was everyone started off lying to the armed individuals.
We're not. Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
We've already passed that point because that's when I took them back to get.
He was talking about the second time you lied to him.
Second time.
At the very end.
Very end?
Interrogation.
Interrogation.
You
Well-
skip so much.
That's what I thought you were talking about. When
That's
you
why he correct, because he thought you were talking about that.
Uh,
But no, he's talking about when you guys.
we don't know who that is.
Yeah.
No.
yeah. So we don't know who that is. Go ahead. So
The cop
We
ratted
showed
us
up.
out.
the cop ratted us out again, unfortunately. But once I kind of realized the cover was blown, and I managed to realize that these guys were not lying about because they said they were here to actually rescue Simon, and for one, they're here 2 hours before schedule of Team 4 arriving, which is the Pepto-Bismol kill team.
That's the guy
The
we
big
did
pink-
the human perception on to see if he was
That's the
telling
one we
truth.
did. That's the one that Landman and Yvonne did the human perception on. The first human perception check I passed in the game.
Same.
Near the very end.
No. No, you passed a lot of human perception checks. You just didn't realize it.
Speaking of,
Oh my God!
at the very start
How
of the game,
long, Jay, did you go?
The whole fucking
Rolling
game.
over.
At
Perception
least
as
half,
perception.
if not
Half of
more
the
than half the game.
Every time during the first half of the game, when I would call for a perception, Jade was rolling human perception.
And because of me, so was Green. Because here's what
Does
happened.
anyone care to explain real quick the difference between perception and human perception?
Ooh, me teacher,
Next.
me teacher. Okay, so
How come
human
it works when he
perception.
does it and not me?
Human
You
perception
did it first.
is to distinguish somebody's demeanor. To see what's truthful about what they're telling you.
Almost like a D&D
You
insight.
pick it up. Yes. Me tell you no talkie.
Human perception.
Mike. So, like Mike said, insight.
Shut up.
It helps you determine
Mike
whether
Tyson.
somebody's being truthful. Not just by what they're saying, but by their body language, how they hold themselves, so on
Well,
and so forth.
You can find out if they're stressed out. You can
Yes.
find out if they're,
But in this
They're
situation,
sleepy.
perception, on the other hand, is perceiving something as far as visually perceiving.
you
Or
see it, you
auditory.
hear it, you smell it, you feel
Yes.
it. And she was rolling human perception as perception.
Cutting her
Would you
short.
like if I called a perception check in D&D and she was rolling insight?
Okay.
Or insight and roll perception.
Here's what happened. Okay. The first time he called for perception, I looked on my sheet. I did not see the perception. My eyes missed it. the first thing that said perception that I saw was human perception. So my brain's like, oh, that's what it's called in this game because this is a different game. So when Greeny's like, wait, where is it? I showed him human perception. So we were both rolling with +7s.
Look, he's
When-
remembering it fondly.
Right. When our actual perceptions, mine was a +14.
How many did you fail that you would have passed?
Almost every single one.
He went from knocked out to alert.
Green was pissed.
His was
He was
his was
pissed.
like-
Yeah, he
That's
said
it because she's. Oh, yours is a 7. Like,
The
are
way
you
he just
sure?
responded to
I
that.
said this is
My
saying
name's
human
John Coffee.
perception.
Like to drink, but spelt different.
Ow.
Okay.
That's just a little bit
So we managed to pass a human perception. We were told this guy didn't seem like he was lying. And because our fates literally rested on these two armed individuals, I cut the facade, Yvonne cut the facade and offered to take them back to Simon, which one of them followed me, thankfully. And thankfully, the other one did not get fucking shot.
By the cop.
I thought that was going to actually happen.
I did too. I was terrified.
Didn't he point his gun at them?
Yes.
I think so.
Even when the door opened,
He was
Yvonne
very
still had his
trigger
gun.
happy. He was so upset when he didn't get to squeeze a shot off all game.
I didn't either.
Neither did I.
I was the only one who
He
fired a
was the
shot.
only one that fired, and he only fired the once.
I think he
Almost killed the
prefers
dude.
combat-driven games.
No,
Ow.
further, I led them back to Simon, who
Maybe not,
was
I can't lift it.
in the office with the wounded woman from earlier, the boat driver. Simon was initially fearful. I let him know these are not the Pepto-Bismol kill team guys.
I love how he says it.
And
Should have titled this.
they introduced themselves as the Other Kim Corporation.
They
There
were
was
solos that worked for Dupree Chemicals.
Dupree. I was about to say something different.
Doogie.
No,
I was
Dick
thinking
jockey.
Derma something.
close enough.
Dildo Chemicals.
Close.
Suction
Actually
cup
close.
chemicals.
No, but I also kind of realized that because for one, they're not wearing the chem suits that the others were wearing, and also they came in not
Peacefully.
from outside. They came in peacefully, not from outside. They did come from outside, but it was a sealed environment outside. They came in from a helicopter. When, as far as I was aware, the other guys were sweeping either on foot or on vehicles. Actual APCs and stuff. So I was just like, yep. So after that, Simon talked to the dude, told him that he's going to point out everyone that's going to come with him.
I was getting told I had to warm my britches.
Chair.
I think there's a duck in here somewhere.
He
Kind of sound like one.
he told the funny unmarked solo, because they're unmarked. They were all unmarked, all black uniforms.
Mhm.
Really, I kind of wanted to shoot him too, but I held my inhibitions. And Simon pointed out everyone. Back to what he said. We thought he pointed out everyone in the bar. He only pointed out the PCs. And by extension,
What I said,
The
and I
wounded
quote,
woman.
is he points at all of you guys.
I heard
And
him
they
say that.
assumed that meant everyone in the bar. And I had to confirm later. I was
So-
like, no.
That poor
you
bartender did
guys
not
at the
deserve
You
table.
Well,
said
granted, I
I was
wouldn't
at the
care.
table. Is what you
But,
said at first.
Yeah.
there was only one
You
NPC
guys.
that got out, and that wasn't Simon or the officers, and that was the boat driver. Because I literally picked her up and carried her to the boat.
Simon got out.
Yeah, that isn't Simon.
Yeah,
or
Simon
the-
was
Oh, I
the
thought you
first
said
one
that.
out.
I misinterpreted the way you were saying that.
That wasn't Simon or the guards that came and got him. It was the wounded boat driver. Because she's efficient at her job, and I'm not going to leave her behind because she'll come in useful later. We have a contact who has a boat now.
So the solos got you guys out of there.
The
Flew
boat
you
is
back
destroyed.
to Dupree HQ.
Good boat driver.
And what happened there?
got targeted. Every single one of us individually,
But
separately.
before that,
Before that, he had a conversation.
no, I'm not talking about the conversation.
Oh,
So while going through this tunnel, everybody had to make a dexterity save.
Because it was only like
Myself, and there was one other. Or was there two others?
First time
Yeah,
it was one.
you, Tank, and Greenie.
First time it was
Failed.
someone else,
This-
and the second time it was all three.
The thing about this tube is it is not solid. It was like you could phase through it.
Yeah.
And anybody who failed fell out of the tube. Luckily, we all rolled really good on a reflex. Though we did get burned, we did not inhale it. Had we inhaled it, we would have died.
So you're able to get up pretty quick.
And this happened twice.
We didn't fall. We just kind of
The
ran
first
out.
round of people failing was just Sparky, I believe.
No, the first round was all three of us.
Oh, and
The second round, it
was
was just
two.
me.
No,
No.
I failed that round too.
Yeah.
It was me,
Yeah.
you, and I think Greenie again.
So yeah.
Oh, we all three
because
froze, yeah.
whenever we did it the second
You
time,
got
to
the
get
chopper.
help,
Yep.
you got up first and
And
was
then
able,
there's
I was able to
extra
help us
cyber
up.
arms for them to grab.
Yeah,
onto.
I was I said is that it wasn't for them to help. They were being helped up by the people. I was being a jackass and a smartass. Go, hey, you need a hand?
So we successfully extract.
And as we're flying away, they come in and start blowing the fucking bar to smithereens.
Oh yeah.
And just above the fucking fog or mist or whatever you want to call it, Landman catches glimpse of a fucking, what was a hot air balloon or some
It
shit.
was similar. It operates similar to a hot air balloon, but it's a perfectly spherical orb, and you really couldn't see too much in it, but
Except a green blur. And when I relayed the information, we all got very excited. We were like, Humble's
Because I
alive!
get paid.
Humble among lived.
alright. So I'm
Good.
pretty sure through the interrogations, most of you lied through your teeth.
I lied by omission. I gave him information that related me to the thing even before he saw through it. I said I saw the boat
But then you lied about everyone else's involvement. At the
I lied
end
about
anyway.
because I was saving them because I didn't die because he is efficient. They
Extra bad.
man,
I
Meat
thought
shield.
I played a pretty good bodyguard.
you did.
He said meat shield.
Meat shield.
I got to talk about smashing bitch's face in the ground.
Yeah.
And I got to make a pretty good gay joke.
See, for my interrogation, which was the second to last,
Yes.
because his was really short.
Yeah.
He almost got me busted. But they thought that I was going to bust them, which I didn't.
The minute he's like, okay, I was there.
I
And
was
everyone at the table's like, fuck!
Because then we all lied
I'm
for
not
our
gonna
team.
lie. I am not gonna lie. I was terrified when Greenie and Death both got interrogated.
Yes.
And I am so surprised because
Hey,
Death
Death
lied
did
through his
great.
fucking teeth.
His rolls were insane.
Immediately, didn't even think about it.
The fucking cop was the first one. Go, oh man, I have no idea. I was just up there having a drink and all of a sudden stuff blew up.
It
I don't
was
even know
very
anything about their
convincing.
story.
Right?
The only one I listened to was Sparky because I am able to tune people out very, very well when I don't need to hear anything they're fucking saying.
Oh no, you would have laughed. We were all laughing because Greenie was
I
over
heard
here.
the comment about I'm not too big on women.
No, with Greenie's, every question they would ask, his answers were like, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
And
Fucking Tink. They started asking her, "Where were you at? What were you doing?" She's like, I was at the bar drinking.
oh, she goes, I was outside smoking weed.
Yeah. Then when she told them that she went to the bar and had some drinks, and they're like, then this boat exploded, and like, well, where were you at? She's like, I was outside. What were you doing? I was smoking weed.
The exact way it was said too.
With Greenie. They're like, so what were you doing at the bar? Oh, I was meeting somebody. Who were you meeting? I don't know, man. I just ran into them.
We both know you're lying. But you know what meeting somebody at the bar means. He's like, man, and he's like, I was just meeting people that was at the bar, just hanging out, just chilling. I was like, fucking hell, we're going to jail.
And then when it
Yeah,
got
keep in mind at this point, most of the party wasn't sure if these were cops or not.
right,
I didn't think they were cops. I thought they
Actually,
were
the
some
only
form of
person
military.
who knew who they were was me. And I even pointed
And
this
that's
out.
because they
Yeah.
introduced themselves to Simon.
And I pointed this out that even for the Russian, who previously was extremely fucking
You want to
paranoid,
make another pot of coffee?
seemed incredibly fucking chill on the
Give me one
helicopter
second,
ride,
because I was-
even after hearing that he was going to be
He
interrogated.
was asking me and you took it.
he looked at me.
I was asking her.
Oh.
No, it was good. I told the dude about because he was like, oh well, he's been speaking pretty fondly of you,
Yeah.
and I was like, well, that's probably because I kept him from getting drugged. And they're like, what? And I told them about the waitress incident, and they're like, what was her name? I was like, Mary, Carrie, Sherry, Cherry. I don't know. I'm not that big into women.
That's great.
All right. Do we have any unanswered questions before we end?
Does this scenario continue?
No.
So that's the end of it.
Yeah.
I'd
We're
imagine.
never gonna hear anything back from who they are or anything.
I didn't say that. I might be able to work some more into future scenarios.
Well, I mean, I didn't know if like that was just the end of it, like because I know how they're wrote.
It actually ends at the rescue at the end. All that extra interrogation shit I just did on the
That was
fly.
really good, though.
You did that on
I
the
love
fly?
Yeah.
That was good as fuck.
I got the idea from Seth because that's how he ended his when they played.
Oh yeah.
But-
Shout out Seth Skorkowski.
Oh yeah, I already did. But they oh my god. Okay, real quick, I gotta do this. Okay. So Seth was talking about his group's interrogation scenes, right? And one of them was just straight like, I ain't no rat. I don't know nothing. And I ain't seen nothing. Right? Like, oh cool. And then the next guy was like, what explosion? No, man. I was meeting a girl there. I met her on Match.com, right? So I'm sitting there and I order myself a drink and I order an appletini for her. And I'm waiting and she's not showing up. So I text her and she's all like, oh, I'll be there in like 20 minutes. And then the drink gets warm. So I go ahead and I drink that because I don't want to make a bad impression by giving her a hot drink. So then I have to order another appletini and I'm waiting and she's not showing up. And I'm like, holy crap, I've been stood up again. Suddenly, I've had about 7 appletinis. I got to go to the can, and then boom! There's this huge explosion. I don't know, guys. All I know is I got stood up on a date, and I really like appletinis.
That's fucking great.
Ready for the best one. The last one he does is he goes, and then there was this. And he goes, all right, guys, I'll tell you everything. The guy that hired us, his name is blah, blah, blah. I'll give you the names and the phone numbers of everyone that was on the job or anyone that I might know that you might care to know. It was just a simple job. I just wanted the money so I wouldn't have to have a vending machine gun. You gotta believe me. I didn't mean to hurt for anybody. I didn't mean for that thing to explode. I can't go to jail, guys. I'll tell you what, I'll suck your dick. I'll suck all your dicks, please. I just can't go to jail.
Yes.
I didn't mean to think of that.
Why didn't you do that?
Would have been great.
I was hoping somebody
Could
would.
you
but it
imagine
didn't
him
happen.
in that stoner voice to be like, look, man, I don't know what to tell you. You want a BJ?
This is great. But yeah, there's a lot
gotta
of
keep it
information
PG.
about
So,
how shit is going down that you guys don't have. So, any questions?
Not about the scenario, but is my car actually intact?
Yes.
Okay.
Instead of being in the
preface.
garage, you can say,
So
Too private.
not specifically about the game, like.
I'm here to answer questions about the game.
Is there a way that, like, because we talked about possibly continuing it? Is there a way that you could work in something when we like tell us what happened next time we play?
like in game? No.
No, not in game, but like when we start, like at the beginning of the game. Hey, this happened since last time. This is what led up. So and so came forward with whatever.
I don't think the info is ever going to come out naturally in a role play scenario. That's what I'm saying. The whole point, part of the game diary is what we do at the end. is all the different behind the scenes shit. If it's a one shot, is we just go ahead and throw it out on the table.
I have a question. Were you running this? Because I know we use the same characters, but were you just strictly running this as a one shot to see if we wanted to do a campaign?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, yeah.
Because
your
I
answer.
was wondering, if there was any way that if we continue and do the full campaign like we talked about, if you can make it to where each one of the corporations that we fight during this different scenarios or organizations or whatever they're called, were linked together somehow, like the con place from the first one and the Pepto Bismol from this one.
I don't know, maybe.
Like, there's got to be a reason we keep getting targeted.
I'll say this. There is a person that was introduced last session that will make a return in a future session.
An NPC in our
Yes,
building or an outside person.
I'm not going to tell you, but it is an NPC.
You know who I'm glad I didn't see this time? A rifle.
Streamline.
Fucking paralyzer.
He's going to be coming back too.
I still say I want to try and do hate sex scenario.
Basically, so what was going down was Petrochem is losing money, like badly. Dupree has put an offer on the company to buy Petrochem. Petrochem does not want this. Okay. Petrochem has a habit of carrying dangerous chemicals and dumping them outside of city limits, attributing to the hazardous environment. Therefore, the chemicals were not listed. It was a complete illegal venture. So, the guy in charge of Dupree, the guy that sent the solos, called a local fixer to basically put Petrochem in some hot water and like put their shit on blast and they get some media attention. That way they would more likely sell. Okay. So this guy's idea of that is, okay, I could either let the secret out that they're carrying these dangerous chemicals, or I can blow up the ship, releasing the chemicals, killing a bunch of people in town, and that's going to put them in even more hot water. So that's what he did. Then he called Humble to assemble a party so that they would take the blame for it. Once the explosion happened and a lady got wind of it, she put in a call to internet, block off all the phone and internet signals, put in a call to Net 54. I need you to spin this in my favor.
She tried to cover her ass by putting it off on old.
So that's what I was asking you to do.
Simon was supposed to be there to watch the transfer. Let's just say he's the mastermind.
See, what
Now,
you
who
just
did you
did was
say-
what I was talking about a while ago. Give us.
There's no way that will naturally come out in game because they're not going to find out everything.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know with what Sparky's connection with Arasaka and the
They're not going
internet.
to be able to dig files that don't exist, is what I'm saying. All that shit's done under the books.
Now,
Right.
who did you say orchestrated the whole thing?
You still don't know his name. All you know is he's.
They
a
work for
fixer.
and
Dupree hired him, but they didn't know he was going to blow up the ship.
Are we going to encounter that fixer in the future?
I don't
Anything
know.
Else?
I don't even have a name for him. He's not named in the
Unnamed
module.
fixer.
So I don't have an identity. So if he does, I'll have to flesh out who he is going forward.
so
It
on
was
the
low
fly
whole time.
NPC development.
That would be fucked up. It was
So what do
low
you
the
guys
whole
think?
time. I
love
liked it.
I loved it.
I thought it was dope as
I
fuck.
thought it was bad.
What'd you think of the game?
Oh, let's go.
I was waiting for him to say about what.
All right, we're hitting the 2-hour mark, gang.
Oh,
Chink, hey, I gotta go to bed. I gotta get up in the morning.
yeah, people are starting.
Good thing we're signing off, huh?
Good thing indeed.
So, see you guys next week, probably for another episode of Sit Down.
Is that yours?
I think so.
Okay, then I need to make sure my list gets brought here by you.
So, you guys want to see my dumbass get interviewed? Tune in next week.
I'll be in the chat if that's any incentive for you guys.
And I'll be doing the questions.
Until then, whoop whoop.
Whoop.
I just about coughed all up in your face.
You nut coughed all in my face.
I just
No way.